Right now, there are over 5 million birds leaving Australian shores. Every year these birds, some barely bigger than a sparrow, embark on an epic 13,000 kilometre flight to the Arctic. That's the equivalent of doing 309 consecutive marathons with only 1 or 2 drink stations along the way. And what's more, once they have nested and raised their young, they turn around and do it all again. Welcome to the second episode of Farewell Shorebirds. I'm Sean Dooley from BirdLife Australia, and I'm coming to you from the Farewell Shorebirds Command Centre here at Melbourne Water's Edithvale Education Centre. And as you can see behind me, the weather is really setting in. Winter is on its way. And when you think about it, if you're a shorebird, you'd want to be heading north. Although the interesting thing is that the driver of shorebird migration is not so much temperature, because where they're going in the Arctic Circle, in say eastern Siberia, the average summer temperature is only 3 degrees Celsius. What drives the shorebirds to head north to breed above the Arctic Circle is that in that period of 24-hour sunshine in the middle of summer, the permafrost melts just enough so that millions of pools form in the tundra, and they're teeming with billions and billions of mosquitoes and other insects and their larvae, a perfect feast for the shorebirds to raise their young with. Since our first episode, the shorebirds have been on the move, and the Farewell Shorebirds team have been receiving reports from around the country of shorebirds leaving their summer haunts. For instance, Hazel Britton from Tasmania has passed on news that the numbers of ruddy turnstones at Moreland Point near Wesleyvale have almost halved in the past week. Now, if you'd like to report your sightings of movements of shorebirds, then why don't you upload your reports to social media with the hashtag Farewell Shorebirds. But right now we're going to cross to one of Australia's premier shorebird locations, the Western Treatment Plant at Werribee near Melbourne, where our BirdLife correspondent Steve Davison is out in the field with the shorebirds right now. Steve, how are the shorebirds doing at Werribee?
Yeah, well, the shorebirds have all gone now, Sean. You should have been here about a week ago.
Oh, well, of course. That's why they're called migratory shorebirds, because they're migrating. Anyway, that is the amazing thing about migratory shorebirds, is they will be moving north as we speak, jumping from wetland to wetland, feeding up for that big jump north. Now, along the way, they need wetlands. And what's a wetland? It basically can be any area of inundated water, but shorebirds in particular like the shallower water bodies, be it the coastal mudflats or inland swamps. Even a flooded rice paddy can suffice, or a sewerage farm, which, as birdwatchers call them, are the happiest places on earth. Now, here to talk about a really important wetland in New South Wales, the Hunter Estuary, is Mick Roderick.
I'm here at Stockton Sandspit in the Hunter Estuary in Newcastle, New South Wales. The Hunter Estuary is about 3,000 hectares in size and is considered one of the most important shorebird sites on the east coast of Australia. Over 30 species of shorebirds use the Hunter Estuary, including the migratory bar-tailed godwit and Eastern Curlew, and the resident red-necked avocet and red-capped plover. Environmental disturbances exacerbated by development throw ecological systems into chaos, causing the loss of shorebird feeding and roosting habitat despite efforts to try and offset the impacts. The latest significant threat to the Hunter Estuary is yet another coal loader, which has the potential to displace many plant and animal species, and in particular shorebirds, which have already suffered major habitat losses.
So you can see why it's important that we maintain a network of safe wetland sites right across Australia. Because each one of these wetland sites is like a refuelling stop for the shorebirds. And if one of those pit stops is missing, they're not going to reach their final destination. We're about to talk now to Richard Fuller from the University of Queensland about some of the work that's being done to halt the decline of shorebirds.
There are some exciting initiatives underway around the flyway to try and address this big conservation problem. These range from international agreements. For example, 24 countries have signed up to a voluntary agreement to try and manage and conserve migratory shorebirds across this flyway. There are regional and national initiatives to try and understand and reverse some of these shorebird declines and managing shorebird sites around the nation. There are very local initiatives, local community groups right here in Moreton Bay that are trying to manage disturbance to the birds while they're here in Australia. So right from a local level, right through to international levels, there are things we can do to help these birds.
Now last week we introduced you to our smallest shorebird, the redneck stint. And this week we're going to talk about our largest, the Eastern Curlew, which is a bird that can be found in the Hunter Estuary and Moreton Bay. And here to tell you more is our shorebird expert, Danny Rogers.
Eastern Curlew.
Eastern Curlew, the world's largest shorebird. It stands about knee height on an adult human. It's got an extraordinary long bill. In females, it's almost the same length as the body.
Now why don't we hear from an actual Eastern Curlew?
Okay, we're here today with an Eastern Curlew. You are an Eastern Curlew, aren't you?
I'm an Eastern Curlew, yes, good evening. I haven't got long, Brian. Can we keep it quick?
No,
I've
I
got
understand
some friends.
that.
We really ought to be going. We're just waiting for the cloud.
Where are you going? Is it
China. We're going to China
that's
in the
right.
morning, right? China or Russia. We haven't quite decided. We'll have a look when we get to Northern Asia.
Now, you're quite a big bird, aren't you?
Well, I'm about normal, Brian, for a curlew.
No.
I'm
I mean,
about
it's a
average.
species.
Oh, as a
You're
species.
large bird.
As a species, Brian, we're quite big. For a shorebird, Brian, I think we're the biggest shorebird. I think Eastern Curlews are the biggest shorebird.
And you have quite a big bill, haven't you?
A big bill?
Yeah.
Well, that's breeding, Brian, really. I mean, we've always had rather an aristocratic nose, the curlews.
Now, this is one of the great migrations. I mean, how do you undertake something like this?
Well,
is there a schedule involved?
oh yeah, we have a schedule, Brian. We're a very well organised bird. Eastern Curlews, very well organised. I don't know whether you've ever seen us
Yes, I
in
have.
flight,
I
even
have.
in the air. We're quite well organised,
Yeah.
as distinct from a number of other bird species, Brian. Some of whom migrate. I don't know how they do it.
Well, you say some of these other birds aren't as well organised.
No, they certainly
Who are
are.
we talking about here?
Oh, Brian, I don't want to
Well,
be
no, come on. Let's have
speaking
some
ill of
names.
others. But, well, put it this way, Brian. If you're planning a trip, I wouldn't put the logistics in the hands of shearwaters.
Shearwaters.
No, have you ever seen shearwaters try to get numbers in the air?
No, I haven't.
It's a bit of a raffle, I have to tell you, Brian.
Now, has anyone ever tracked you as you go? I mean, this is a great story.
Well,
isn't it?
we think it's a great story. That's actually happening this year. BirdLife
really?
are doing it. Yeah, there's a website you can go to and you can track the whole thing. It's
Really? What's it called?
It's probably, Brian, called the beauty and majestic romance of watching the Eastern Curlews fly majestically to Northern Asia. What's it called, Sean?
It's called Farewell Shorebirds.
Farewell Shorebirds. Look out for it. That's
Farewell
terrific.
Shorebirds, is it called? Well,
yeah.
there's probably some other species involved. There must be.
Yeah, well, there would be, wouldn't there? I mean,
Oh,
there are a lot of other bird species who do migrate.
Yeah, there are, Brian, but they're not Eastern Curlews.
Not
I
as
don't see
interesting.
don't really see the point in following them, but that's just me, maybe.
Fair enough.
Probably
okay.
a few others involved.
Yeah.
Just excuse me,
Yeah,
Brian.
sure. What are you doing?
I'm just getting their attention, Brian.
Oh, I see.
This is the first and final call for flight EC1.
Yeah, that's Eastern Curlew?
Yeah, the first lot, going in
First
the morning.
going. Sure.
We'll be going in the morning from the lagoon up the end of the beach. Get ready.
Terrific. That's got their attention. Thanks
Yeah.
for your time tonight.
Oh, my pleasure. Might be an idea to bring a jumper. Could get a bit cold when we get to cruising height.
That's all we've got time for this week. Next time we're going to head to Northern Australia and look at the ways that we can track these incredible birds.
I love my shorebirds.
If you want to be part of the next instalment of Farewell Shorebirds, simply upload a short video to Twitter or Facebook saying, "I love my shorebirds," with the hashtag Farewell Shorebirds. Until next week, see you later.